Hey, good evening.
Evening, Clay. How you doing, buddy?
Oh, it's been a busy day here. It's that time of the
Yeah,
year. Well, a hot
yeah,
one out there too. Kind of like
yeah,
2A day.
yeah. It is a lot more humidity today than that day. I think, though.
Oh, yeah, big time. Hey, Trampus, good to have you. Waylon, and we got Kevin on. He says, "What's in the breeze, folks?" Well, depends on where you're downwind of it.
Oh, Eric's looking for our buddy already.
Hey, Larry, how are you out there, liberal? Larry Gene says, "Who's the intro song performed by?" What's the name of that town?
Nefix,
Nefix? Yeah.
Nefix,
Yeah, you can find them on
Nefix.
YouTube. It's a free use music. So yeah, go check them out on YouTube.
Yep.
But well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
Why
let's
don't
hit that 2A, Clayton.
get into it right away? The way we start off each and every episode with the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. And like I said, I say it every time. I think it's the most important amendment out of all of them.
Yep. Can't disagree with you.
So before we get rolling into everything here, we had a great 2A day. I was glad I was able to come up. I brought my buddy Eric along. We had a few other guys there that are fans of the show.
Yeah, Big R was there, and Dan came up from Dickinson, and Casey came out there with his daughters. I have my daughter out there for about 4 hours, and Brian came out, and we had
Troy. Troy came out.
Yeah, Troy was out there. He was out there all day and all night, actually. Evening down there, he is right there. Thank you for showing up, buddy.
Yeah, it was great.
I was gonna say my favorite gun probably to shoot at 2A day was. I only shot it once. Dan had that NRA 45 long Colt lever action, and man, he had that thing. The sights were so on that. I think out of how many rounds were in there, I might have missed one. And shooting at smaller targets even too, but I think I missed just because I was getting overconfident because that thing was so accurate. But that was fun shooting that. No recoil, had that bigger bullet and real smooth action. That was an awesome gun to shoot.
Yeah, no, like I said, there was a lot of guns there, a lot of fun, a lot of targets. We even touched off the Desert Eagle 44 mag. I know I let Wyatt give that a whirl.
Yeah, I got a lot of video. I edited a few of them and put them up, but not too many. Hey, Lynette, it was a great time. Thanks for hosting us. It was awesome.
Yeah, and Eric's out there setting up turkey camp. Yeah, he's down to Slim Buttes for the next 5 days. He said that's where he was going to be headed.
After it, huh? Awesome.
Oh, yeah. He always gets some good video, too.
Yeah.
Did you happen to talk to T and see if you got any of that drone footage?
He did get it. He didn't get it done yet, but I think he's working on it tonight or tomorrow, and he's going to get it to me. So
awesome. So yeah, there was a lot of video out there. A lot of people were taking video.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna play one thing and then we'll play the other one a bit later. Okay. But I thought this was pretty cool, and this come from little Tannerite action. Yeah, that's after we moved up on the hill there.
Yeah, I think Eric shot that with his 223, actually, right?
Could be. I don't even remember.
I think he did. I think he did, but yeah,
I don't know if I was remembering a lot by that time.
I did a little editing on there, and so yeah, it turned out pretty cool. That was awesome. I love shooting that stuff up. But so, what do you got for a gun tonight, Clay?
Well, being we're gonna have a little segment coming up that's gonna tie into this, I brought out my Henry Big Boy.
There you go.
And of course, this one's in the 45. I actually have a 44.
Just like the one I shot.
This is my 44. I actually have a 45. Okay. The one I do not own is the 357. So I better get one of those.
Yeah, you better.
And then I've got
Jesse brought that out to Medora. I think that time he had one.
Oh, yeah, a lot of fun. I know. I thought I grabbed the 45. I guess it don't much matter. I had to have one of each.
Yeah. I'm just lame. I just got my M&P 2.0.
Did you have that there this weekend?
Yeah, I did. This thing was freaking right on the money for me too, as usual. I love that handgun. I mean, if you're out there at 50 yards, you're gonna be in trouble. I'm gonna get you somewhere. So
Eric said, "Yep, he's the one that shot that."
Yep. Yeah, I figured he did. Yep. I just cut it down and made a short out of it and put it on Facebook during our Facebook.
Lynette chimed in there, but the only thing I got asked the most about is what kind of pizza that was from Papa Murphy's.
That was awesome,
great,
man.
So, yeah.
I love that. That thin crust was great too. That was awesome.
Gene's like, Levers, you got some catching up to do. All right. I want to also want to thank our sponsors, Lauer Auto Repair, right down there on South Washington Street. You can get a hold of Doug and the boys at 701-258-6308. And I tell you what, no one's going to treat you better than Doug right there. And Axe was there this weekend, being at his place. So.
Yeah, we've shot through a lot of his 50 cal. So if you need something fixed on your car, make sure you get down to Lauer Auto. Axe has got to resupply his 50 cal ammo there. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I guess then we should probably roll in. Let's talk about our poll we had up.
Poll of the week.
So let me see if that's the right graphic. There we go. We got it right there.
Mm-hmm.
So this week it was, what is the best all-around varmint cartridge? Results and discussion on the May 24th podcast. And as you can see, we've got 69 total votes. 23% were rimfire. And I'll have Jamie give you the actual numbers here.
Yeah, 16 votes, 23%.
53% on 224 center fire, so 22 center fire class. That was
36 votes, yep.
And other was 24%.
Which we'll get into in the comments here shortly.
Yep, there was. And then, I did get one comment I had to grab. And this comes from Gene. He says, hunting with the right caliber. It's all broke out there. 4570.
So Gene was just telling Clay, talking lever actions, you gave him a shot. And Gene's, he's obviously a 4570 man right there. It covers everything for him. Varmints all the way up to blackbirds. Okay, hey, there Lynette has a pizza up there, extra large and New York style.
New York style. What
I do like something from New York.
Was it meat or was it herbal meat? Or I don't know. That's what I was asking.
It was organic, Clay. Don't worry. It was actually good for you.
It didn't matter. It tasted good. Going in and going out.
So I'll go into some of the comments here for the other, which other and rimfire were tied at 16. So, and I mean, 224 center fire class, more than doubled them. So, and I will say right now, my favorite, well, not only just my favorite all-around cartridge, my favorite cartridge is 223 Remington. So, we got Brian Warner. He's a top fan. He'd have been there, but he was up in Alaska. He says 22-250. Mike Aberley's got 22-250. Bob Crumpton, he's 223s are good and handy for an AR, but 22-250 is hard to beat for him. Troy Howard, he was out there. Troy's got the 204 is what he likes.
Hey, I tell you what though, he had another fun toy though that I liked out there.
That 350, yeah.
Well, and that 6.5 by 284.
Yeah, we got some long range. Well, long range with a lot of people at 460 yards. We were shooting. Dougie's got a deer gong. We were shooting it, and I'm gonna get a compilation. Everybody shooting at that. That was pretty fun. That was real fun actually. So, Rory Syverson 338 Ultra Mag works pretty good. Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, somebody gave him a little a ribbon here, so it might be a little small for those male prairie dogs.
Yeah. He goes, nope, works good.
Well, 300 Justin Weberg 300 Win Mag is just a thing of beauty. Yep, for sure. We got another Brandon Raft Seth 22-250. Here you go. Now we're getting into Clay's country here. Ruben Voigt 220 Swift.
Oh yeah, I really enjoy the Swift.
Yeah, and our buddy from up there in Hazen, Jesse Flath, depends on your definition of varmint. He's got Yosemite Sam up there with his hands out, questioning things, and he says the rabbit, squirrel, skunks, rimfire, fox, coons, beaver, light 22 center fire, badgers, and other tougher stuff. 87 VMAX 6mm, and what did I go on here? Oh, I said, I said, aren't coyotes considered predators? He said, yeah, but he's 243 with 87. So, and he did actually say 22-250. You got in there with you there, Clay. And then he said he's lost some longer hits with the 223, which I can't disagree. I agree. 223, 300, 350. I mean, yeah, I can hit them longer than that, but and then they've dropped. But I'm not going to lie. Either I've recovered all of them. I've shot farther than that, Clay, or I've actually missed. So,
and I can tell you, yes, I have lost some with the Swift, but not very often. I shoot a 55 VMAX through it. and it's rolling pretty good. I use, of course, Ramshot Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
and
Good stuff.
it's my 10-shot string on those when I built those loads were like right around 37.51. So that's smoking. That's moving right along.
Real good.
I enjoy that round. I can't say that I've lost that many, but I guess I know its limitations. Maybe that's the big thing. I don't know.
Yep. So moving on here, we got Dustin Weidrich, 22 LR subs with a silencer. I love that. I like that. That's awesome, man. Eric Newman, best all-around varmint cartridge is a cartridge I have in hand when I see varmints.
Especially when he's going to church on Sunday. He has a little drive, so he hunts his way over and back.
Our buddy Jason Lotsis, the guy I went to high school with down there, and I think he's in South Carolina. 6.5 Grendel or 224 Valkyrie and an AR platform. Right on, buddy. Love that. Dave Dave haha Nerf. That's not, but he's all about the Ackley, man. He's got some weird things in here I don't understand. Eager, splitting, Loudon
Boomer.
He's all those. Something with Ackley.
The Ackleys are nice. I've shot some 643 or some 243 and some 6mm Ackley improved. It does make a difference. It changes the shoulder, and it's just a smoking round. A lot of guys who hunt coyotes like those too.
Yeah, and so by all around, what I meant was effective on a variety of varmints, ammo selection, bullet variety, affordability, and availability. So, and then that Jesse said, then definitely a 243 or some 6mm. Which okay, and then Jeans, you put Jeans up there. We got Chris Brownell, 220. He's going on there with you, Clay, with the 220s, right?
Oh yeah, yep. Chris is from Minnesota. He comes out here shooting.
Okay,
he's the guy that makes the targets. So he brought you a present. He brought Axe a presidential target.
Okay, awesome. Hey, that's
and he talked how that's the same bullet he was shooting and IMR 4064, and I used to load that as well until I switched over to granule powders. I just prefer those over stick powder. Nothing wrong with IMR, but it's a stick powder, and I've kind of went away from it.
Okay. I think we got some grains in our face when Axel suppressor blew off of his.
I think you're right. Yeah.
Justin Thompson, he said 243. That's his best all around. He's with that. Lee Entrikin, he's going 22 250. Chris Johnson said Poison does a really good job of controlling them, to which I said true, but not nearly as fun or entertaining.
Chris is a friend of mine who, he's originally from Wyoming, actually from Minnesota. And I met him. We went out to Wyoming, done a lot of hunting out there. And he's in Florida now, so I don't think there's too many sod puppies down there.
No
things to shoot though.
Yeah, plenty of that. Hey, Chris, if you ever listen to this, kill as many of them ugly pythons as you can here.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, Clay? You give us an intro to this Minnesota thing. I just realized I didn't plug in my computer. My battery's about to die.
Oh, yeah. No, I can definitely do that. So, all right, guys, we're going to move then right into that while he's getting his power cord. So in Minnesota, they have decided that they're going to go for gun control yet again. No surprise. They got a majority all the way across. And they introduced Senate File 2909, and it's actually an omnibus bill. It's packed with all kinds of things as far as a bill goes. It's basically a spending bill. And they didn't have enough balls to bring it right to a floor vote and just put it in here and stuck it in there. And it's going to infringe on the constitutionality of all your protected rights if you're a gun owner in Minnesota, the way it's looking. The bill, which pro-Second Amendment politicians fought hard against in both the Minnesota House and the Senate, includes the so-called red flag laws. We all are familiar with those.
Oh, good. Those are really good.
Yeah, here I like this. I found this in the comments on the Twitter feed from the governor's Twitter feed. They really like the red flag law.
So if you listen on the podcast, Clay, put that up again. I know we had
got the Russians.
And the Chinese. I'm not sure what that other one is. Is that
the hammer and sickle? I think that was one of the Soviet.
Yeah, no, I got that one. What's just the yellow star with the red? I don't.
That's also Russian.
It is? Okay.
I've seen that.
Okay,
on
I mean we got some kind of Nazi flag there with the iron cross on there
before.
Well, the point is you're a totalitarian if you're doing this kind of crap. So
dictators love gun confiscation.
Yeah, for sure.
So and they went in there, and then of course they're going to have the old. Think about this: universal background checks. That's always the big thing on the other side. Sounds warm and fuzzy, don't it?
Yeah. So when you got that here, let me read you what good old Governor Walz said prior. I got his prior, and I know we have a prior. Yeah.
Go ahead and read it.
Yeah. So as a veteran, gun owner, hunter, and dad, I know that basic gun safety isn't a threat to the Second Amendment. It's about our first responsibility to our kids, keeping them safe. When the bill reaches my desk, I'm going to sign a red flag law and background checks into law. So that's the Governor Walz. So he thinks he's throwing out his bona fides there by saying he's a veteran and a gun owner and a hunter.
Oh, yeah. That's what they always do. I mean, you look right there.
Yeah.
As a veteran, blah, blah, blah. They always throw that out there like that justifies what they're about ready to say.
Right. So, Clay, what he is there, let me clarify this a little more. You and me are getting at. Okay. Hey, Governor Walz, yeah, you're a veteran. You're a gun owner, hunter, and a dad. You know what you're not? You're not a Second Amendment supporter is what you're not.
Right.
You're not. You're not a Second Amendment advocate. You don't like Second Amendment civil rights. That's what you're doing here. I'm sure you're proud as hell you got your guns locked up in your safe. I got them here. I got my ammo all the way up on the third floor of my mansion, even though I'm one of them poor Democrats who doesn't have any money because I'm a common man.
Yeah. Well, you know. Hey, DJ just told us, he filled us in. It's the gold star is the flag of Vietnam. Okay. I thought, well, they adopted it from Russia.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know my uncle's a Vietnam veteran. I know many other ones in Vietnamese, the North NVA and the Cong. Yeah. As long as they had the guns, they were good with it.
Let's show you some tweets on the good old Gov's Twitter page when he tweeted that out. FUD, of course, we've used that one before.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That isn't basic gun safety. That is a violation of civil rights.
Yep.
Spot on. There's nothing safety about it. And of course, what mass shooting in U.S. history would those types of laws prevented?
So in response to that, Clay, we do have a response here from Dr. John Lott, president of the Crime Prevention Research Center. Universal background checks are simply not the answer to that problem. There's not one mass public shooting this century that would have been affected if such a law had been in effect nationally.
That's right.
And I mean, without going through it, Clay, every go ahead and give me one. Go ahead and give me one that this would have prevented, because most of all of them passed this crap, and the ones that didn't do a background check, they killed somebody and took their gun, they stole it. Yeah,
well, just look at the recent ones. They all went through like I said, they went through their background checks. They went through all these things that the leftists always are saying they want.
So,
and
speaking of that,
a red flag law wouldn't have stopped none of them.
This one guy in Texas now, in this recent one in that Allen, Texas shooting thing there. I mean, what do they ever come up with? Because not to get out, we got a lot to cover with Governor Walz here, but real quick, what happened to that? Because they were saying he got kicked out of the military, right?
Right. Yep.
But he still passed a background check. So is this one of them deals like that Texas shooting where the military didn't send the stuff to the NEECs to let them know that?
It could be, and it disappeared from the media real fast because it didn't fit the narrative.
Oh, that went away.
Went poof.
Gone.
They talked on and on.
Something they didn't wasn't working with them. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Clay.
No, that's fine.
I'll just say something the media didn't like, didn't go with their narrative, so they dumped talking about that real quick.
Yeah, real quick. So exactly what they did.
So let's red flag laws, if you don't know, just permits the government to take your firearms and without even any due process. I mean, maybe later that'll come for you, right, Clay? First time you're going to find out about it is when the door kickers come. And
they will.
Oh, yeah. Oh, especially
for sure. They have the authority, as they like to always say.
Yeah. Yep. So, So let's go with Justice Clarence Thomas. The NRA was saying, aside from due process concerns, the U.S. Supreme Court decision last year's Bruin case suggests red flag confiscation orders, which they are. It's a red flag confiscation orders, not common sense anything, are unconstitutional on Second Amendment grounds. So here's what
solely on the Second Amendment grounds.
Yeah,
that's important.
Yeah. So here's what Clarence Thomas said. In order for a firearm regulation to pass constitutional muster, it must fit within the text, history, and tradition of the Second Amendment right. Specifically, the opinion noted that when the Second Amendment's plain text covers an individual's conduct, the Constitution presumptively protects that conduct. The government must then justify its regulation by demonstrating that it is consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation. Was there ever a red flag law, Clay, before these recent years? Have you ever heard anything like that being consistent?
That'd be zero. Zero.
Sorry, leftists, not happening, man.
And I do love how he, and I love Justice Clarence Thomas because he completely gets it. He's in the line with Scalia, but he talks about how the government they haven't done anything. They have to justify doing something. It's not, and that's how this goes. That's what the Bill of Rights was all about, all of them, especially the Second Amendment. But it's not up to us to prove that we're innocent. It's up to them to prove that we're guilty. It's that presumption of innocence. And it solely lays on the state. It solely lays on the government to prove that what you're doing is what you're doing.
So California has they have red flag laws and they have universal background checks. I mean, they've had universal background checks since the early 90s and red flag laws since 2016. But guess what, Clay?
It's working real good.
California led the nation in active shooters in 2021.
Imagine that.
Oh, impossible.
How about that? How could that be in a state like California?
So let's hit. Hey, we got just go for it. We got a few comments here. Why don't you catch up on them, and I got to get something else here.
Yeah, I'm going to put this out. This is from the Twitter feed. When the governor went out and said that, he goes, they put red flag isn't basic safety. It's an illegal search and seizure based on untested allegations of future crimes that have not been committed. And then another guy puts up here, absent first due process or probable cause, any such seizures are a blatant violation of the Constitution. And guys, I went through it. There was a ton of comments. And most of them, surprisingly, were that. You always had your ones in there that were not going to be, kind to us and thought that you could go farther. But I thought, I wasn't going to put this one up, but I'm going to put this up. You said that we should put it up.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, if you're watching.
This was in the comments. And it says, I grew up around guns, but no one needs an assault weapon.
Oh, man. And for anybody who's listening on the podcast, it's
sarcasm.
Some guy bent over. His gal's got a strap on. She's pegging him.
Yeah.
So we got a few more. One Shot Cap showed up. Hey, Cap. Brandon from Man Down Sporting is one of our sponsors. Hey, Brandon. And our buddy J_Titan, which that underscore, I'm going to put this in there, J Sniper Titan, because J Sniper Titan was sniping some shit out at 2A Day. It's pretty, and I got some funny videos with him too.
He was doing a good job out there.
Yeah, he was. So Clay, we got a few more things on this, and then we're gonna have to hit our first sponsor break here. But Illinois, right? Illinois here, red flag law. How's that working in Chicago? Because Illinois has a red flag. They got mandatory background. They got FOID. They got waiting periods. You gotta right click. You gotta have a thing for your ammo now when you buy it. You gotta have an ammo card.
If you don't have the FOID card, you can't buy anything.
Yeah, and they've had them for years. So let me give you this real quickly. We had a new mayor sworn in, Mayor Brandon Johnson, and guess what? Here's his first weekend in Chicago. Last weekend, 24 shot, 2 killed. Man, them red flag laws and background checks are kicking ass, right?
Yeah, they're working great.
So here's Chicago, Clayton. Chicago, year to date, all right? Wounded 793. That's with all these laws in effect. Remember that. This is what Wall says is going to help Minnesota big time. Wounded 793, killed 211. Now, that's just from year to date in one city that's been governed by Democrats for 100 years. Now, let me give you this. In every year, there's less than 500 people, far less than 500 people that are killed by not just AR-15s, but all rifles combined. Less than 500. Chicago is almost halfway there in just this year already. Just this year already.
I didn't catch all the numbers, but I think there was several killed, 4 or 5, even just this past weekend. And
that was the past weekend.
Well,
that's what I said. That was Mayor Brandon Johnson's first weekend. 24 shot, 2 killed. I'll guarantee you that is a low number from the usual weekend in Chicago.
Yeah, red flag, gold stars.
Red flag on steroids. Red flag on growth hormone is what Chicago has for gun control. So.
Yeah, Chicago's probably one of the worst cities. Them and D.C. probably have the most shootings and killings in any single week.
Oh, I got some more coming from Chicago in the 2A bullet points, man. So,
okay.
All right.
Let's go ahead and let's do a long.
What do you want to do? Single? We want to do triple? We're going to go
do the single.
Okay, let's do. All right, here we go. We're going to do our single for our main sponsor, Lauer Auto Repair. The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
Absolutely. And there's, like I said, it's getting hot. We'll get that air conditioning.
You bet. And if you go into Lauer Auto, if you go into Man Down Sporting Goods, if you get some from the blind guy, to make sure and tell him you heard it on Guns in the 701 and you appreciate him supporting shows like this. Matter of fact, Brandon will give you 10% off whatever you buy at Man Down Sporting Goods if you mention you heard it on here.
Yep, absolutely. And speaking of sponsors, hey,
buddy, Dave Hansen's in. Hey, Dave, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for joining us, my friend.
Yeah. The blind guy, he was out. Him and Tammy were out and doing a little shooting on 2A Day. So
absolutely. Absolutely. I was hoping Brandon was going to show up with some of them Freedom toys. But
yeah. So Jay actually has a question. He has a question for you guys when you have a moment. Does anyone know where this ATF pistol brace rule is going? I'm wanting to put a brace on my IR, but I damn sure ain't paying for a tax stamp. I can tell you right now, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals just ruled, but it was only going to be ruled for those three individuals that brought the lawsuit. And it was based on another case that I believe Gun Owners, I think Gun Owners America was involved in it. And that's going through a process now. You know, we had one already go up to the Supreme Court. They kicked it back, but it wasn't because they didn't want to hear it. They wanted to go through the process. Well, same here. The Fifth Circuit, then by their own merits, they ruled in favor and gave an injunction. That means they think that the other case they're watching is probably going to come out in favor of the plaintiffs. I can tell you right now, though, I don't, unless something major happens here in the next few days, I don't see any national injunction brought up or put into effect. So I imagine come May 30th,
I'd find a good hiding place for it for a while.
Yeah, and you will be a felon if you still possess one. And I don't even encourage people. I was watching a video on this already. I was, and I agree with what the guy said. I wouldn't go turn them in. I wouldn't register them. I wouldn't go do the paperwork because that's just saying, "Yep, I'm okay with it. Yep, I'm okay with you guys trampling my rights." Don't do it. If you have one, I guess make it disappear. Whatever you need to do, but this will work its way through the courts. It probably will take a while. And who knows? Maybe we'll be lucky, and we won't have to worry about it here after 2024 into 2025.
Hopefully that answered your question, Titan. There. I'm curious what Dan's comment is, or I kept trying to read it underneath that.
Dan's?
Yeah,
all
put
right.
that.
Says you guys just don't understand. Heidi Heidkamp, when she was a senator and after she was the attorney general, said it was due process because you could go to court and get your guns back after the government had seized them. Yeah. Yeah. And that's how they think.
But guess what, Clay? Even if she's right, how much money is that going to cost?
That's right.
I mean, thousands and thousands of dollars. I got some stuff. I could do it, but then I'd probably be, it's going to affect me big time to get my guns back. And when you're totally innocent, it's not like they're going to say, oh, hey, never mind, we'll pay your money back. No, they ain't going to pay your damn money back.
And I can tell you right now, even when I worked for NRA, I had calls like this. We have the civil asset forfeiture still in the state, unfortunately. And the guy did have his guns taken. This wasn't an isolated case either. And it took him over 2 years to get them back and lots of money. He said he probably wouldn't even give a damn, but a couple of those were his dad's. And his dad had passed on. And they were just bolt action rifles. And he goes, it really upset
Weapons
me.
of war, Clay. What do you mean?
Weapons of war, yeah. And he really hadn't done anything. He hadn't done anything that was firearm related. It had to do with a different incident. He was found not guilty. but they still had his guns. Then he had to go through the whole procedure and get a lawyer to get his guns back, and it shouldn't be that way. It really, truly shouldn't.
Yeah,
That's why they shouldn't take them.
There should be if these states that pass them until hopefully they get overturned, if you found innocent, in my opinion, they should have to pay your ass back double of what your guns are worth.
I think they should.
That's bullshit. You just take your anyway. All right, let's move on. All right, let's move on to our next topic. It's something a little different here. Last week, Clay and I kind of go ahead, Brandon. You're right. Just like the bump stock ban thing they did there. I hope didn't turn them in. You lost them somewhere, man.
Well, and I know you and I discussed that. When it came out.
There's 3 states, and they ruled in those 3 states. You can, I think it was like Texas, Louisiana, and Missouri or Mississippi or somewhere. You can actually own them in those 3 states. It's not nationwide, but I mean, like Clay was just talking about with these 3 individuals. If this goes nationwide in bigger court cases, I mean, everybody should be, you got your GPS where you buried them or you dropped them off your boat when your boat flipped over or whatever,
Yeah, and I can tell you on the brace thing, that was part of my Second Amendment bullet points, one of them. So I'll talk a little bit more of that quickly when we go into those.
Yeah. So we were talking last week. Clay kind of went over the Ruger there with its own illuminated sight and 9mm, nice little pistol. We kind of did a little review on it just for something different. Clay and I like talking gear stuff, and we talked to some about Henry, and somebody's like, the Henry Big Boy pistol. And we're saying, all right, let's do it. Right. So right there it is, Clayton. We got 2 models. What 2 models we got here? This is Henry's known for their lever guns and their shotguns, right? The lever action shotguns.
Yeah, they're a big thing. This is their first production revolver, as far as I know. I don't think there's been. You can get the classic 6, classic style 6 shooter, and it's a Big Boy Revolver. I believe they shoot for 357 and 38 special. You can get what they call just your standard grip, as you can see there in their GDM 8017, but the 8017 BDM, that's your bird's eye, or what do they call that? Bird's
head.
There you go, bird's head.
Doug's got that on the shotguns we shoot. Actually, I like the looks of that bird's head better.
Oh, I do too.
But I think the gunfighter one's probably going to be better for shooting, and they're made out of walnut. Right, Clay? Is that what they're made out of?
Made out of walnut, it said. And I'm not. Someone knows this answer, but it almost seems to me Doc Holliday carried one pistol. He carried several.
Clay, whatever do you mean?
Yeah, and I believe he had a bird's head on a grip on the one. For some reason, it seems like I read that somewhere. But
hey, Clay, can I just do something real quick here? I promise we're not going to go down the trail. Hey, Governor Walz, you know what you are?
Nasty person.
Yes. We had that in the queue last week and forgot to use it.
In case somebody missed that, here's what I said. Governor Walz, you know what you are for your gun control stuff? Here's what you are.
Nasty person.
We had to pull that clip from the CNN town hall. It was great.
Nice work, Clay.
Yeah, we're just going to keep that right here.
All right, back to the Henry Big Boy. So we were talking about the grips there, and
they've got a quick release cylinder. I believe they're double actions, if I remember right. So you can shoot them either way.
Yep, double and single. Yep.
Got a 4-inch barrel, so really easy to concealed. Like you said, they got the walnut grips, and then they got a brass trigger guard. And I guess I can put them back up here. You can see that brass trigger guard.
They're cool. They look
like comes down to it comes down the strap of the handle too.
Yeah, the bird's head one, like you said, kind of looks like a Doc Holliday one, and the other one kind of almost looks like to me like the late 1800s, early 90s, like a police pistol kind of.
It almost looks like a Smith. I mean, it's got that look.
I mean, they're cool. They're cool, man. And if Henry made them, I think there's some top quality stuff. They got the medium size frame is what they're saying.
There's a side view of
that's cool, man. I like the only thing I don't like, but to be fair, I don't like that when the sight's back just cut in there into the frame like that. But they do have, I think, 2 or 3 different front sights you can screw on, right, for elevation.
They do. Yep. I gotta read it in there, but there was like 3 different ones that you can put into there.
Yeah. So what are these things?
The ram blade front sight, and then 3 sizes are included for regulating the point of aim to match the point of impact.
So what do we got? What kind of calibers we got for these, Clayton? What do they come in?
Going to be 357 Magnum and 38 Special. Of course, you have a 357 mag, you can do a 38 Specials. so you can shoot both. They come in at about 34 ounces, so that ain't much, really.
Yeah. So I think the gunfighter. Which one did I know I wrote down here what I thought. The bird's head is maybe a little, like a hair lighter, like 2 ounces lighter.
Okay. Yeah.
For whatever reason, I can't remember what it was, but speaking of 38s, man, Troy had that Smith and Wesson thing out there that a gunsmith worked on that trigger for, and
Oh yeah.
that, I mean, in single action, that thing was that was awesome, man. And he shot it better than me. It was his gun. I'm more of a semi-auto guy, but yeah, Troy's deadly with that thing. So
I had my revolvers out there. Yeah, you were over there blasting something else.
Yeah. I was busy with my daughter for a long time right away. I mean,
Yep.
I apologize if I wasn't that friendly or talkative with a lot of people right away, but she had a blast, man. She sat there for like 4 hours straight till my wife came and got her, and just she actually told me she had more fun shooting the 22 revolver. Actually, you know, my grandpa's revolver that I got, and I loved shooting that thing when I was a kid, and she does. So I think awesome. I might have an excuse to get that thing Cerakoted now to preserve it a little more for her. So
I remember I sat and took my little my little 22 mag, my North American Arms one. That little mini one.
She shot that too. I was surprised how good she shot it. Actually,
she was a little skeptical at first, but then when she shot it, the big old grin on her face was worth it.
I was kind of skeptical too, and I was like, "Dang, you're hitting that hog pretty good." That was her favorite target there. Doug's got a full size hog there, and she was picking spots out on there and getting it. But so this thing, anyways, back to the big boy. Got the transfer bar safety, which I like. A lot of people don't like safeties on pistols. I myself do. Which I got kind of incorporated to a story later, but like Clay said, 34 ounces, overall length 9.5 inches, rated twist one twist and 16, barrels 4 inches, MSRP. Man, I was kind of shocked it was this much, $928, which I mean realistically you can probably knock 100, 150 off that, but that's. I don't know. I'm not what do revolvers generally cost that are 38s, Clay? Like I said, I'm a semi-auto.
It's been a while since I bought one. I really couldn't even tell you. Hey, Manda and Sporting Goods.
Yeah, hey, Brandon.
Brandon can chime in here. He can tell us exactly what they're selling for. And honestly, maybe Brandon's going to get some of these in. That'd be kind of cool. I'd love to go down and take a look at it next time I'm up in town. So I do got to put out there. Cade Foss, he's one of my son's classmates. He says, "You guys must be making liberal Larry angry."
Hey, all right, we got fantastic Nelson. Get him, Ruger. Let's go, boy. I love it.
There you go.
That's Ruger's going back to my alias I had on Facebook and on the radio. Ruger. Todd still calls me Ruger, and feel free, call me Ruger. I don't mind it.
So Brandon's got him on order down there. He said,
nice.
And Sporting Goods hasn't seen him yet. Hey, Brandon, let us know what's the average, say, for a 38 special, either in a Smith, a good carry gun, or 357
stainless and blued. What's the difference? I mean, if you got a blued or a stainless, what do you got going on?
Curious what they're bringing.
Me too, because I'm an auto loader guy. I can get it in the ballpark and that pretty good. Okay, Doug said he believes Doc Holliday had a Cold Thunder, among others.
Right there, yeah. There, he's got it up there, yeah. And I know Gene, he chimed in on this. And yeah, I think you're right, Gene. 44, 40, or 45. I mean, that was the era. But he thought it could have been 1873, which it might have very well been. And it could have had a bird's eye. It may have, I don't know, bird's head grips. I know they were kind of popular, but I really couldn't tell you who all carried it. It just seems to me, for some reason, it seemed like Doc Holliday had one.
Oh, man, Brandon, open up your pockets, man. You're going to get some coins dumped in there. Lynette said Doug's birthday's coming up. Going to have to hit up Mandan Sporting Goods.
Absolutely. There we go.
Perfect. Yeah, Brandon, my buddy Casey, who he buy his rifle from me, but he did use it for his FFL and spent about $200 on ammo in there. He blew it all up out of Dougie, so he might be swinging in there again pretty soon too in his AR. So
I know I dropped a little in there on Saturday. Brandon wasn't there, but Joe was, and I had a good chat. But I was shocked. It's been a long time since I actually bought 44 Magnum. I didn't want to shoot my reloads because they're more of a cowboy type action, really. So I got some better stuff, so to run that action on that Desert Eagle. I was like, whoa! Well, Brandon, I knew it went up. So
Brandon says these Colts probably going to be a little more than the Henry even.
Oh, really? Okay.
I'm going to actually go with the Henry because Colts kind of pulled some shady deals on people with the
They
gun
have over the
industry.
years.
Remember that? Something with their ARs again. I can't remember. They weren't going to sell them to the public, but
They weren't going to
sell
sell them to the public. They were going to, but that's when they were owned, actually, if I remember right, under safety lock. I
Okay.
think
Oh,
was
okay.
it,
They changed. Okay.
or maybe whatever company it was, and it was actually they were. You'll love this. They were, I believe, Britain owned at one time, or some country over there in Europe, and that's
Okay.
when they started making deals with the Clinton administration, and that was what the big thing was. They made all them deals with Clinton administration and caved. And I think the idea was they thought that
I love
other
making
ones
deals with
would.
people.
Yeah. Especially under the Oval Office desk. Anyway.
Oh, so I just got a text here. Fantastic Nelson. That's actually my buddy Chad Nelson.
Okay.
Great guy, man. Chad's awesome. I talked to him. We used to play softball with him and kind of almost grew up with him. But yeah, he's a good guy. Awesome dude. Chad, appreciate you listening, brother.
So Jay's got in here, stupid Joe Biden wants to make it hard on good, honest people like us to own guns, and he backs these stupid rules, but he's okay with donating our weapons and helicopters to the Taliban.
Yeah.
Left all that stuff over there.
Hey, he's okay with giving them to Ukraine because all of a sudden they're good for defending your country and people's lives. But
Yeah.
over here, we can just give them up.
And remember what first time ever, what happened with the AR-15?
Ukraine is the first time ever it was actually a weapon of war.
That's right.
And those were donated by civilians, actually.
Yeah.
Like civilian companies here shipped them over there. Joe was sending them full autos. We were just the civilian gun companies were sending them semi-autos, if I do believe. Yeah, that's a nice picture of you, Chad. Yeah, protect our borders for sure.
Absolutely.
I mean, it sounds like the National Guard down there in Texas kind of slowed it down a little bit, but
I'm with you,
There you go,
Keith. I agree 100%. The hell with Ukraine.
I mean, Clay kind of gave her the PC version of it.
I did, yeah.
All right, I'll tell you what, Clay. Let's do the CNN thing real quick because we got. And then let's get to our 3 commercial break here.
Yep.
Go
for it.
So okay, so I heard this story on one of the podcasts I was listening to, and there are just a few things we can get in on this. And so, a 3-year-old child shot and injured 2 people in Indiana on May 18th, on the evening of May 18th, which led to the arrest of a man wanted for murder in Illinois. The child got access to a gun. 3-year-old child, this is still blowing my mind. Remember earlier when I said this about a safety, but the child got access to a gun and fired 1 round, striking 2 people in an apartment in Lafayette, Indiana. So I had to think back about my kids when they were 3 years old. First of all, let me finish the story and then we'll get in. It's not too much longer here. Officers responded to a local hospital where 2 victims were being treated for it's almost a happy ending, treated for non-life-threatening injuries after the shooting. One of the victims is the child's mother. Police did not say how the child was able to access the gun or what type of weapon was used. So I can assure you, if this was an AR-15, they'd have told you right away. So it wasn't that. I can tell you that. It was probably a handgun. Here's almost a happy ending, though, Clay. The second shooting victim, identified as 23-year-old Trayshawn Smith, was a friend of the child's mother who was visiting the apartment. Smith, a resident of Lafayette, oh, baby, here we go, was then arrested on an active murder warrant issued out of Cook County, Illinois, where they got that's Chicago, if you don't know, is in Cook County. Home to damn near every gun control wet dream the Democrats want. So it's unbelievable, right? So
yeah, you can't make that up.
You can't make it up. It's tying in with everything. So the kid, Clay, the 3-year-old kid, I mean, I just don't. I know I said a few things on Saturday. We were talking to people about safes on handguns and whatnot. And I said, I'm a fan of having safes on there. Most people aren't. This would almost be one of the reasons I would. I mean, I was never worried about my kids. They knew to keep their hands off my shit when they were 3 years old.
And I'm trying to figure out, it doesn't say. I'd like to know which firearm it was. If it was a handgun, I'd really like to know which one it was because I just, my kids have been around guns their entire life.
So can I give you my thing and what I think happened here, Clay?
Go for it.
So good old Trayshawn was wanted for murder, right? So he's obviously a criminal. He's always worried he's always watching his back. Trayshawn went over there to see baby mama, set his handgun down, one in the chamber because he's always ready to kill somebody, and he wasn't paying attention. little man or little woman, whatever this 3-year-old was over there, come over. Probably seen daddy flashing his gun around before, tried to do the same thing, grabbed onto it and squeeze the trigger and put one round through mama and Tracia on there. That's my theory what happened. My guess is when the story comes out, if it ever does. There you go. Thanks, Keith. Right on the nose. I think I'm right on the money with it too, Keith.
I think you are too, because, all of us here listening to this obviously have shot probably some kind of a handgun. Well, I just don't know if a 3-year-old would have the strength to pull the trigger on some of them, especially some double actions. But you're probably right. I think your analogy is probably the one that happened.
Yeah. I'm betting it's a Glock. I'll throw that in there too, because Glocks don't even come with a safety. So I know some Glock guys are probably Jesus Christ, he's down that Glock. No, I'm not. No. I'm pro thumb safe right here. I got my handgun. See that? I love that even when I'm carrying, man. it's just me. I don't have nothing against it if you don't. Most people on here listening. I'm probably everybody listening to us actually. They're not worried about the 3-year-old popping them.
Gene says, I bet it was a Henry Big Boy. That's great.
With the bird's beak or the gunfighter? Probably the gunfighter, because he split through 2 people, so he's a gunfighter. So to expand on this a little bit, Clay, I don't know if you caught that second part of that article I sent you.
No, I didn't, honestly.
Okay. So that was a CNN article, and there was a kind of a little link to click on here for a different kind of in the same ballpark thing with CNN thought anyways. Millions of children live in homes with at least one loaded, unlocked firearm, researchers say. Yep, guilty as charged. You got me in my house for sure. Some states have laws that can punish adults if they store guns irresponsibly around children, which there is 27 of them. They're called, what the heck are they called here? CAP laws, child access prevention laws. And in some states, parents can be criminally liable if minors access those guns. So a few other stats here real quick. Child prevention laws vary wildly. There is no overarching federal law, according to Giffords Law Center, to prohibit the Second Amendment civil right. An estimated 7% of U.S. children, or 4.6 million, live in homes with at least one loaded, unlocked firearm. Then what?
And I'd like to know what their definition
guess what, Clay?
is.
I'll let you go real quick before I forget. The study, which used that from 2015, the estimate is more than twice as high as the estimates reported in 2002. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, like I was just saying,
and this is a story from 2018 on CNN, by the way. The follow up here. Go ahead,
I just love how they say loaded firearm or loaded weapon. And what's the definition? That does vary from agency to agency, state to state, even county. Loaded is either one in the, by some definitions, one in the chamber. Some places consider a full mag with nothing in the chamber. So when I hear that, I always, what's their definition?
Well, years ago, before we had permitless carry, I called, and they did change it. I called the Bismarck Police Department and asked them, and I'm like one in the chamber, and the gal answered, I remember, let me put you into enforcement. And she's like, and I said, so loaded, is that the chamber, like my magazine's full, or if there's one in the chamber? We don't care, there's one in the chamber. And I go, well, what if it's a revolver? They're all in the chamber. Well, I'm talking.
Yeah.
Right? If you got a revolver, it's right there. It's ready to rock.
And everyone knows me. If you look at my revolvers, yes, I could load them all up. And most of them guns have some sort of safety mechanism like what you just read about on the Henrys. But I just don't do it. If I got a 6 shooter, that's usually only got 5 on, it's on an empty chamber. That's just my own thing.
Yeah,
I can pull it back pretty fast
at all. I mean, I'm just saying, me personally, I prefer safety. I mean, maybe that's just the way I grew up with a safe. When I see it just sitting there like, well, the trigger's got, okay, for you, cool. Me, no dice. I want to manually hit that safety off. But
Jay, he had to chime in. He goes, Larry is at Target shopping for his new butt pirate costume for his debut in the new Pirates of the Caribbean. Oh, see, Larry's going to give us entertainment.
Hey, remember Larry actually had a cameo out at the Second Amendment Day.
That's right, he did, didn't he?
It'll be on a video soon enough, my friend.
I don't think he.
All right, Clay, let's hit this triple.
Yep.
And then, man, we're coming up on the bullet points already here, aren't we?
Yes,
All right,
are.
we're gonna come back with a 2A bullet point. Don't worry, it goes longer than we always say on the bullet points too. So,
Oh, yeah.
all right, here we go with the triple ad. The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
Guns in the 701 is sponsored by the Blind Guy of North Dakota. For all your custom window coverings, you can contact them at 701-222-3932. They're freedom-minded, they're patriotic, and they love the Second Amendment. This husband-wife team was born and raised right here in North Dakota and based out of Bismarck. Again, for your Second Amendment company, for all your custom window coverings, the Blind Guy of North Dakota, 701-222-3932, or visit them on the web at blindguynd.com.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
All right. And yes, thank you to all of our sponsors. We can't do that without them. And we love bringing this to you each and every week. So if you go in there to Mandan Sporting Goods, tell them you heard it right here at Guns in the 701. If you're going over to talk to Doug over at Lauer Auto, tell them you heard it right here at Guns in the 701. Let them know that you heard it here so that they know that they're supporting the right thing. That's what we like to hear. They like to hear it too.
You bet you get them blinds and shades put in by the Blind Guy in North Dakota. Hey, you can probably, you want to go try and get somewhere cheaper? Maybe you will, maybe you won't, but I'll tell you this. I'll tell you what you could do know. You're not sporting a pro Second Amendment company. You won't know that. So I'll tell you what, Clay, we got a good text here I forwarded to you from Axe. Doc Holliday's gun. All you need to know about the legendary gunslinger. Man, we might have to do us a Doc Holliday segment here. We may have
to. Right? I was just kind of scrolling through that through the break. Yeah.
Listen, we love Tombstone, and most of our listeners probably love Tombstone. Let's get it, man. I'm down with that.
That was a great movie.
I'm 100%.
And Kilmer did. I don't think they expected that kind of performance from him. So
I think all them guys did an awesome job, man.
They did.
Loved it. Loved it.
All right. So, and speaking of that, we're going to do, talking about companies that are pro Second Amendment, like our sponsors, all three of them guys, they're to the core. I can tell you right now, we're talking, hashing this over, and I think next week we're going to start something where this has been brought up before. I think Marty brought it to our attention that we should try
which we did last week. Remember, we got one in there real quick.
So we're going to officially start in June and bring you basically let you know who the anti-gunners are. We're going to highlight those. And I'm also going to try, I think, to offset it by who we absolutely know a pro Second Amendment company is.
Okay.
But I guess off the top of my head, and we talked about this a little bit, and that's Buffalo Wild Wings, guys. I haven't been in there for years because they do not allow you to carry in that establishment, and they don't care. I brought it up with managers before at some of them. The parent company believes that you shouldn't be carrying in there, so they don't want you to carry in there. And as far as I'm concerned, if they don't want me to carry in there, they also don't need my business, and they're anti-gun. And that's the way I look at it. So if you're eating at Buffalo Wild Wings because you want wings, there are better places. I'm pretty positive.
So I texted Clay and I told him since I'm always doing the happy ending, I wanted him to handle that segment. And if you like what I'm saying, we should call it. Go ahead and say that in the comments. But I told Clay we should call it Clay's Commie Company. So
Commies. They're all commies.
Clay's Commie Companies. And trust me, there's all kinds of them out there. So hey, Dave Fettig.
Good to see you, David. I must not be on the road tonight, huh? I know he's been hauling a lot of anhydrous here, so.
Yeah. Oh, we got Jay Titan. As far as safeties are concerned, I really like the Glock trigger safety. It gives me a little peace of mind. See, I put an aftermarket one in mine, an Apex, that I was showing down. It's just like the blade trigger, like a Ruger American or the Savage. It's got that. Plus, not only do I have that breaks at 2.5 pounds, I still have the old thumb safety.
There you
So
go.
if I, put it down I got it down my pants there and concealed carry, which I usually don't. This is a full size baby, but I mean, if
Gene asked a question. He says, "Can you pack a gun in Hooters?" I don't know. To tell you the truth, I've never looked at their policy. Maybe I'll start out with that.
Is that a different name for something else, Gene?
So, all right. Well, why don't you start us off with some Second Amendment bullet points?
Oh yeah. Okay. So here we go. So last Friday on PMS NBC's Morning Morning Joe, New Mexico Governor Michelle Lujan, I don't know if it's Lujan or Lujan Grisham, Democrat, of course, claimed an AR-15 is, here we go, Clay, it's an automatic weapon, right?
Oh.
So she made her comments discussing the May 16th, 2023 Farmington, New Mexico shooting that left 3 people dead. Of course, the guy had 3 different kinds of guns. One of them happened to be an AR-15, right? And she says, "Oh man, it's hard for me to keep my concentration when I read crap like this." Here's what she said: "Frankly, no one that isn't in the military. This is a weapon of war or a trained police department. In my view, no one in America who isn't in one of those 2 situations should own an automatic weapon. There's no reason to own one of those." All right, first of all, it's not a weapon. Well, it is now. It is okay. But throughout history, it's never been a weapon of war. But I'm going to say it again. I got a shirt that says weapons of war, bow and arrow, musket, lever. But everything's been a weapon of war. So that bullshit they say with that, no. Only the police? Wait a minute. I thought why would the police need it? It's a weapon of war, not a weapon of law enforcement, right? And so the police are warriors. They're they're going to war with who? Right? And and again, it's not an automatic weapon. An AR-15 is a semi-automatic. Not that it matters to these bozos, but just be true. It's not an automatic weapon. Okay. Okay. M16s and M4s are automatics with select fire switches.
Auto loading, but not automatic.
Right. So they had to just go ahead, Clay. I'm not going to hit my second one, but just something like that. And I can come up with something with this. These Democrats say this kind of shit every week.
Oh yeah, they always do.
The weapon of war. The weapon of war thing really eats me up. Hey, we were talking about the Henry revolver. Guess what? Revolvers, weapons of war.
Hell,
weapons
of
war.
Patton. That's all Patton carried was a revolver.
Yeah. So when Custer was at war with the Indige over there at the Little Bighorn, and they found him scalped and full of arrows, because they were at war, what'd they kill him with? Arrows, bow and arrows, and he had bullet holes in them too from lever action guns, lever actions, bow and arrows, weapons of war. When Democrats say weapons of war, they want to ban everything. And if you think I'm not telling the truth, I'll guarantee you, if they had the chance, they'd clean every damn weapon you had out of your house.
Oh, they'd take them all. They want to take
everything.
Them all.
Any knife that had a point on it, you don't need that shit. You can. They're doing that crap in England. So,
Gene brings up that Albuquerque, it's out of control as far as crime goes. Right there. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Imagine
Ever since the Dems took over, man.
I mean, it doesn't matter. You can be in blue states or red states. Generally, red states are pro-freedom, but you can find that metropolitan area that's just diehard blue. And look at Fargo right here in North Dakota. And
guess what, Clay? Yesterday, shooting in Fargo. You know what it was? It was to me reading it, and I'm probably gonna come out that I'm right on this. It sounded like a freaking gang fight. Under 18. Kid got shot and killed. The police found him dead, laying in the street. Like the Dems, I was like, so guess what? Guess where they found him? In your Democrat-controlled city. where you guys got everything you want there, and you wanted to ban guns in emergencies, and now you got dead kids in the street.
Yeah, and under 18. So the new rules, especially with the enhanced background checks they just passed, 18 to 20-year-olds wouldn't have done a damn bit of good.
Right, and they're going to add that into it's
Child
gun, like it's
deaths.
accidental gun violence, but it's gangbangers, which most of their kids, it's actually the second leading cause of death, not number one, like they claim. Clay and I went over that.
Yep.
But that's what they add that crap into, these gang wars, and gangs commit damn near 80% of the violent crime in here. Yeah, why not just like that, Keith? You bet.
Yep.
You bet it is. All right, Clayton.
All right. So, and the reason I'm going to go with this one, I got a couple of them lined up. We get them to them. Great.
Yeah, I got another one too.
And it was because this question came up, and this was one of them I had picked, was with the pistol brace ban. And here's what it was. This come out of Wichita Falls, Texas. This was as of May 23rd. The Firearms Policy Coalition and Christopher Lewis with Maxim Defense Industries and William T. Mock won an injunction for the plaintiffs against the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Explosives on the new pistol brace rule. And that just happened. And that's what I was talking about. It's a 3-judge panel. Ironically, 2 of those were Donald Trump appointees. One was a George Bush. They're waiting to hear arguments in Mock versus Garland. And that was the one I couldn't remember. Mock versus Garland, where the plaintiffs are taking on the ATF's new pistol brace rule that would reclassify millions of pistols equipped with pistol stabilizing devices and call them short-barreled rifles. Now, what they're doing with this, guys, they're saying that the National Firearms Act is the same route they went with bump stocks, that's how they can do this. The change would mean millions of Americans could become felons as of June 1st, 2023, and the window closes to register, destroy, modify, or turn their firearm equipped with a pistol brace into authorities. And that's where they're at right now. The injunction will protect the status quo until the appeals court can hear the case that has been expedited. But of course, like I said, that case hasn't went yet. And by granting the injunction, the court seems to indicate that they believe that the plaintiffs, though, are likely to succeed on the merits of the case, because that is one of their hurdles that they must overcome to receive an injunction from a court. So obviously those 3, I think that the plaintiffs are going to win this and have it. And I agree with Bruin, and it came out, everything is leading to Bruin, guys. Bruin was a huge, I don't think anyone realized how big Bruin was. It's not the end all be all, but it definitely was a great thing in our cases all across the board. And that's kind of where we're at with the pistol braces. I could go into this a little more, but I will tell you that because of this, it only affects those the 3 people in there, which is the Firearms Policy Coalition, Christopher Lewis, Maxim Defense Industries, and William T. Mock. So it's not a nationwide one. There's no nationwide injunction. It's just going to be right there for those 3.
That just coming to mind with the pistol braces. Remember on Mondays in the crosshairs, when we were on with Jay Dillon, I mentioned that the Pulse nightclub there.
Yes.
Right. That guy used a pistol brace, and he locked the door. He chained the door shut on the club and went in there and shot people. The police wouldn't go in. By the way, Omar Mateen, registered Democrat, another mass shooter, was a Dem.
No.
But he had that one, and I think the guy in Ohio maybe, and then one of them Colorados. Anyway, my point is, a pistol brace, you can have like a 10-inch barrel, right, Clay? We're talking about short.
Yeah.
You're losing a ton of velocity. That firearm's far less deadly. Obviously, it's still going to kill you, but then they're ban those, and then when the deaths are still going to happen, they're coming for everything else here. Which, I mean, like we just said, but this pistol brace thing's a freaking joke. It's just something they demonize something, they target it and demonize it, and they get rid of it, and they did take a chip off the block. I mean, there literally is millions and millions of these things that people use.
Well, they've been out there for a long time. The ATF made a decision before. This is the problem with alphabet agencies using this kind of interpretation of the law to just go ahead and make regulations.
So what about the people, Clay, that actually need these things, and just screw them in their self-defense? I mean, if you're injured and you can't, or you're a veteran and you need one of these things, screw you. You
just register with the government. It's safe that way then.
Oh, God.
And here's the thing is they use what they call the Administrative Procedures Act. That's what the ATF uses. And it even goes back to, remember the Chevron case in the Supreme Court, and everyone knows, what's that got to do with it?
Chevron deference, yeah.
Yes, and that's what they defer to, and they say because it allows then agencies.
That reminds me of vast deference, anyways. But go ahead.
Anyway, the problem with Chevron, and by the way, it sounds like they're going to rehear a case on that and throw it out, and it was the ideology behind that was, hey, we're in power. I know that's what it was. We're in power now. That was done during the 80s. And of course, you had the Republicans and the conservatives in the power at that time. So they wanted to make sure that they could just overrun the Democrats by any means possible. Well, guess what? They're using it now on us through things like the ATF and the Department of Justice.
The ATF's used this kind of crap even before the bump stock ban, but I mean,
they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, you're right, Kelsey. Incremental tyranny for sure. What Brandon got up there, ATF?
10 years ago, they already ruled on this, and now you got a new administration. Biden wants it out of there, and that's what they're going for. And they're using all of these procedures and all these precedents. So I have a feeling you're going to see this work its way through all the way to the Supreme Court. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of that, because I think this Supreme Court's ready to basically do away with Chevron and completely overturn it, just as they did Roe versus Wade. I think you're going to see that kind of a landmark decision and throw that one out, which will change the entire atmosphere now of what these agencies will be able to do. And I think that'd be a good thing.
Yeah, you said work its way through. Back when I was in the White House, I called it twerking its way through,
up and down. Anyway,
yeah. All right, I got another one here, Clay. I got another Second Amendment bullet point. So, May 20th, the Chicago PD had a gun buyback. All right, you know how well these things work, right? We're gonna buy all these. We're gonna get these guns off the streets. I'm putting quotes up, off the streets, which actually in Chicago is probably true, but you're just going to take them away from the good people but anyway, so a handgun, they were given $100, and assault weapons, they were getting $200. The 450 guns were turned in, Clay. This is going to get you. So there was 135 unfireable replicas that people turned in, and they actually gave them these damn gift cards for them, for Christ's sake. And an unspecified number of BB guns, and the rest were fire. Unspecified number of BB guns. That was probably the damn near the rest of them. They knew that these idiots were going to give them $100 or $200 for.
Yeah, and then they went and bought guns.
This Chicago is unbelievable, and they, there's not much common sense there when you get rid of Lori Lightfoot and you get this Brandon Johnson in there, and this guy's.
I think he's worse.
he might be worse than. I mean, I don't know how we get. He might be better looking, but. Whatever.
That's right. Gene says gun buybacks. That's where the criminals go to steal guns and turn in for cash.
Yeah. No kidding.
Because there's no questions asked.
Yeah. No kidding. That's unbelievable. So, all right, Clay, you got another one? Or are we gonna get happy with it?
No, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna do
this
one. This is a little bit different than what we usually do. I can tell you, I read a lot of things here. I never even thought about it. You know how a lot of people get a nice collection of firearms, and a lot of times when they get ready to pass away, they want to see that kept intact. And their first thought is, well, I'll donate it to a museum. Well, this article I was kind of reading about made a lot of sense. It says a lot of people put together a significant gun collection over their lifetime. They want to see them preserved for years as they pass, and it often manifests into looking for a museum to put it on display. Sounds good, right?
Yeah,
but it's probably not the thing I would have ever done. Even before I read this, I would have never done that. And he points out there's like 3 different things there. He goes, first, he says, finding a museum, that it's very rare to find one that actually has the same mission that matches you with the focus of your collection for a specific way that you want it displayed. And firearms, and as we all know, they cover huge amounts of history, firearm-specific things with them, and of course there's the personal connection of some people's firearms. It was their grandpa's, it was this, it was that. So museums don't take that into account. They're looking for things that draw people, something unique, and they can put in there. That's going to be their mission. If you leave it to them, and one of the conditions isn't to sell it, they'll probably be put into storage, and no one will ever see them. Who knows?
Like one of them Indiana Jones storage things, you mean?
Yeah.
That big warehouse.
A big warehouse. Then he goes, and he points out too that a lot of museums, especially if they got gun collections, they already have their display spaces filled. And I can attest to that. I used to make a trip all the time when I'd go out to DC. I had to go out there at least once a year, sometimes twice. And I'd always hit the National Firearms Museum, being it was right there at NRA headquarters.
Mhm.
And they did change things in and out. They had their permanent displays. Like they had the one with Teddy Roosevelt's guns, and that was always pretty much a permanent one. You had the Sturm Ruger one in there. That was built by a donation.
Mhm.
But yeah, they did change some of them in and out because they didn't have room for them all. And if you leave an entire collection to someone like the National Firearms Museum, they probably will sell, if they can, they'll probably sell some of those firearms off just to go ahead and help meet the needs of the museum, make updates, and then maybe even display a few of the ones that were in your collection. But they'll break it up most likely. So he goes, the guy who wrote this said it's probably not a good idea because they're not going to display your entire collection, probably. They might rotate some in and out, but it's not going to be what you were thinking.
Mhm.
Then he goes third. He goes, even if a museum has the space and shares the theme of your collection, they almost certainly already have examples of that on hand. And it's probably true, especially a firearms museum. You've been out to Cody and seen that one. That one's huge.
I'd love to.
It's worth going to. I don't think it's as good as when it was housed in the basement of that building, but it's still pretty good. He goes, if a museum is not allowed to break up and sell off parts of this collection, it simply ensures that many of these items will remain in perpetuity, locked away in the reserve archive. And that's probably true. And there is a problem with that. If you've got some pretty cool historical firearms in there and they don't need multiples and they can't sell them, that means nobody will ever see them again, probably. To me, something like that is if you're worried about that and you don't have family, have an auction, put it out there, let other collectors have their chance at it. You could raise a lot of money for your family selling off your collection too.
Mhm.
And that was kind of what this guy says. He goes, if the collecting community that does most of the research and publication on firearms history, if they're not allowed to see these things, that's going to almost be lost to history, I guess is what you could say, and no one's ever going to see it again. So, in closing, he basically said, "Is it really the right option to give it to a museum?" He goes, basically, unless you've got enough money to build your own wing and leave a bereavement to the museum to maintain it, probably not. And I tend to agree with him. So I went a little different route with that.
No, that's
I
cool,
just
man.
thought it was really
That's
interesting.
good
and
information, actually. I
something
like
that
that.
no one ever thinks about. I mean, I've thought about, what mine's going to do, but at this point, who knows how many I'll have. And I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to have to change my will as it goes on because the collection keeps growing. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yep.
it's I thought it was some cool information.
Yeah,
and
that's
no
awesome.
one thinks about.
Looking at the comments here, Jay Titan's got the reason that I actually thought that was Brian. I don't think it is, but
Here, I'll put that up there.
yeah. The reason I even bought my AR pistol was for home defense. I wanted a lightweight, maneuverable gun. Stupid ATF wants me to become a felon for choosing the gun of choice to protect my family. Well, guess what?
Yeah.
I can tell you this, Jay Titan. ATF, they don't want you to defend. They're anti-self-defense, just like they're
They
overrun
don't
with
want you to have any.
Democrats. Yeah, that's a weaponized agency now by the Democrats, and the Democrats want to make self-defense illegal.
Yep, absolutely. And Kelsey's got up here. Largest mass shooting in American history was 1890, December 29th. The Army confiscated for their own protection from the Sioux.
Yep.
And then, of course, we all know what happened. The dumbest thing ever, they were all slaughtered. Yeah, that's worked out well. Anybody that ever gives up their guns, it's worked out real well.
Turn it in, man. We'll protect you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. So they also make guns in non-working order. They do. I've seen
the replica. Yeah, the replicas.
Yep.
That's those.
Turn them in. Turn them all in.
Yeah. Or they got. Go ahead.
Well, Kelsey's got. Now their descendants are all two-spirited Democrats now. Yeah, it's amazing how the tribe.
Unbelievable, right?
Tribes all were probably persecuted. They were some of the worst that got persecuted under our stupidity and our own rules. And I can tell you this right now, that didn't work out well for them. They turned in their guns. They trusted their government. And now I don't get this flip. Now the tribes love they love the Democrat Party. It's like they want to be taken care of from, cradle to grave.
It's unbelievable to me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't believe they still trust
a
them.
lot of indigenous people I know don't like that idea.
Well,
but, I mean, most
there's
of them
always
do.
something.
You can tell when it comes time to vote. I mean, they're always going blue, but the rest.
Yep.
So I got a text message here. Hey, Jamie, is somebody missing a polymer ammo can with some PMC bronze 223 ammo and some remanufactured 223 ammo, all FMJ? So if anybody's listening from 2A Day, I'll check into it a little more, Troy. But as of right now, I don't know anybody who said anything to me. So if nobody gets back to me, you might as well, you can keep it. But
Well, I had a small one, but I don't think it's missing. I'll look, Jamie, and let you
that's
know.
genetic problem there.
Nice. I'm sure glad he's my co-host.
Stole it from Tango and Cash, Clayton.
Yeah, genetics. So yeah, no, I don't know. I guess I don't understand why the tribes go that way. I don't know why they still trust them. They trust them now probably more than ever because you'd have thought they'd have learned their lesson, but I guess not.
Yeah. All right, Clay. So we got one more single, and then after that, you know what we're doing, right?
Oh yeah. And I never get tired of
All right,
seeing
here
that
we go.
intro.
One more of these, and we'll be back with a happy ending. The 701 is proud to be sponsored by Lauer Auto Repair, located at 309 South Washington Street in Bismarck, North Dakota. If you can't stop by, feel free to give them a call at 701-258-6308. Doug and the guys are ardent Second Amendment supporters and will always shoot straight with service and fair pricing. It's been a long winter with lots of snow, ice, and rough roads, so now's the time to get that alignment checked from the curb shots, potholes, and bumpy snow-covered roads. Summer will be here before you know it, so get that rig scheduled for an AC charge. Make sure and tell the guys at Lowry you heard the sponsored Guns in the 701 and thank them for supporting and promoting our Second Amendment civil right. That's Lauer Auto Repair, 309 South Washington Street, Bismarck, North Dakota, 701-258-6308. Your North Dakota proud, patriotic auto repair service.
Again, thanks a lot to Lauer Auto Repair. He's the main sponsor here on the show, and I can't say enough about him. His hospitality this past weekend was great as well, and does great work, and he's pro-gun. You can't fight that.
Oh, man, I mean, that's when I find out somebody's pro-gun, I keep going back. But,
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm friends with Doug and his wife for years, so I go there anyways. But, all right, so we're going to hit this, and then you bet. If you're new to the live stream of the podcast, that's the theme for the happy ending of the week here. So this week we got a man in Blacksburg, South Carolina. He was at home with his mother on the night of February 2nd when a 29-year-old intruder burst through the home's front door and began assaulting him with a blunt object. During the struggle, the man was fortunately able to reach his firearm and shoot his attacker once in the chest. The wounded assailant then left in a vehicle that had been waiting nearby and was taken to a hospital where he later died from his wounds.
Oh, no. He assumed room temperature.
The homeowner was also taken to the hospital for his injuries and were later released and not charged. All right, so the happy ending right there. Homeowner defended himself using the Second Amendment rights and a gun, uninjured. Took care of the scumbag who's never going to freaking go into a house with a blunt object and beat anybody again. In my world, that is a happy ending.
Happy ending. Absolutely.
Right on.
All right. Well, I guess I think I'm pretty much out. I mean, I got one more I could do, but I'm not good. I'm going to
let's go into what we got coming and what we're going to be Friday and what's happening because Monday we're not going to be where we're normally at, Clay. So.
Nope. Monday we have off the KFIR Plus streaming thing. They're taking the Monday off for Memorial Day, so we have a Monday off, so we won't be back on until next week Wednesday. After Friday.
Yeah, right. So, but Clay actually did get last Monday's episode from In the Crosshairs edited up. He's got it on YouTube. I'm going to post it on Facebook here in the next couple of days. But this Friday, 8:40 a.m. per usual. 8:40 a.m. Central, 7:40 a.m. Mountain Time. We're going to be on with Mitchell in the morning, Todd Mitchell, KFOR 5:50 a.m. We go about 20 minutes there, but it goes till right about 9, right, Clay? A couple minutes before.
It's pretty close to that. There we go.
Right there. I'm sorry, Todd. I got to mention it. I love laughing at that, but Todd's a good guy. He takes it in all in stride. So, but yeah, we're on there every Friday at KFOR 5:50 a.m. And then if you know anybody who missed the podcast tonight or the live stream, of course you can listen. You can go back and rewatch it here on Facebook or YouTube. And if they didn't, tell everybody to go on to iHeart or any other podcast platform they listen to, and you can get the podcast right there. We recommend iHeart because that's what we're on. We're in conjunction there with 550 KFYR. We do that, but if it's on any other one, and of course, like I just said, you can always come back on Facebook and YouTube and watch it again. So,
yep, absolutely. And iHeart, I can tell you right now, on all the things that we go up as far as our podcast goes out to, that's probably the one that's watched the most or downloaded.
Oh, for sure it is. Yep.
We are on the others, guy. We're on just about all of them.
iHeart definitely dominates, and last week it ticked up again. It was good, man. It's awesome. So, what do we got? A question here for me here. I see Clay. Hey, JD.
Yeah, right here. JD, you mentioned the velocity loss in AR pistol, which is correct. I wanted to ask if you had any experience with the 300 blackout. I went with the 5.56 because of ammo availability.
Jay Titan, I have shot some 300 blackout with some of my friends. I personally don't own one. In my opinion, that was suppressed, and he didn't have subsonics, but I thought it was actually louder than a 5.56 suppressed. But for home defense, if you check it out, maybe you've seen it, maybe you didn't. Doug and I, we tested some home defense through his through the ballistics gel with the 77 grain, I think. Hornady home defense, but I think a 300 would blow through somebody actually way easier than a 223 would. That heavy bullet going that slow. I mean, that's got way more carry through. I think because people are always worried about going through, right, Clay, and going through the next wall. I think you're going to do that with a 300 blackout from shooting it. That was Second Amendment Day, actually, about 4 or 5 years ago. Whereas if you get like a ballistic tip, I mean, Doug and I are going to try it on his gel, like 50 grainers, ballistic tips, and even 50 or 60 grainers are going to try them because I think they're going to blow up and go in somebody, blow up and knock them out. Whereas a heavier like that 300 blackout, because those are usually like 220 grain bullets. I mean, that big sucker is going to carry right through you and go through and do what you don't want it to do. In my opinion, we're going to find out. The
blackout's a short range gun, but it's got power. That's what it was built for.
Yeah, kind of like that 350. I mean, 300 blackouts even. I don't even know if it's on par with that 350 Legend, but like I said, that 220 grain bullet coming out of there, even at sub 2,000 muzzle velocity, still going to go easily through a person.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. There you go. There's Doug. Sounds like the next test. Yeah,
absolutely. So hopefully we can have an answer for you.
Yeah, we're going to get an answer. Well, I guarantee you. I'm not saying the immediate future, but sometime before summer's out, we're definitely going to get you an answer.
So, yeah. So, and then of course, we're going to be putting up another weekly poll here. We just got to decide what it'll be. If you guys got any suggestions, let us know. We love it. We've actually taken some, and that's what we've done with them, and they become our poll questions. So,
yeah, more. Yeah. So we'll have a new poll up at some point tomorrow. Thanks everybody who voted on there.
Hell
yeah, appreciate it. It's fun. I love going over these polls. If you guys got any anything you think you'd want us to try for a poll, feel free to either, if you know our text number, do that, or get Clay at gunsinthe701.com or JD at gunsinthe701.com, and at some point, either sooner or later, we'll get that poll up for you if we think it's worthy, which we probably will, right, Clay?
Probably. We're pretty easy going.
Yeah. So, all right, Clay, I tell you what, man. All right, let's go with Gene's question real quick here, and then let's
see. Gene has got home defense short weapon. Try a 19-inch BBL 12 gauge and number 4 buckshot. Absolutely. You know what? What have I always said? I'll take a shotgun any day. I can tell you right now, the shotgun gets it done. It's going to accomplish what you need done. And you don't even have to be real accurate. Just point in the direction.
Hey, Jay Titan, appreciate that. He says, thanks, guys, supporting the channel and loves it. Good people. Thank you. You're good people for supporting us. Appreciate that. St. Caden Foss, good show. Thank you, Caden. Appreciate it, buddy.
We're actually
I tell you what,
get
me and
wound
Doug
down
have
there.
actually talked about trying some buckshot in the ballistics gel.
Ballistic
We got a lot
gel,
of plans for it. In fact, my youngest Clay, who is out there, T Money, she volunteered her services to do the 22 ballistics gel home defense test because we got plenty. I mean, I actually have like some self-defense environment around, not just hollow points, of the segmented 22 with a higher velocity. So we want to try those in the ballistics gel, and Dougie's got plenty of that. He's got deep pockets for biting. That was a joke, Doug. I got that. Anyway. We got a lot of stuff coming up this summer, man. We're hoping this fall. So
DJ put up there. He goes, "Yeah, we have a JIC with buckshot over the bedroom door."
Perfect.
It works. It works.
Perfect. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say one more thing, Clay.
Yeah.
We actually tried. I was gonna try it before. It was the small. You see the little 10 packs of the 22 and shotgun. It's some kind of tannerite stuff. We mixed it up. Man, we didn't get any videos of it. I don't know how. But that stuff worked freaking great. Remember that? We stuck that to the steel gongs I think I got one where we stuck it to a water jug.
That's right.
And my daughter shot in blue. That stuff works awesome.
Yep,
So if you ever really see that, it's pretty affordable. I'm pretty sure Brandon has some at Mandan Sporting Goods. I know he has Tanny. I got to get some more out of there. I'm out of it now. But yeah, those little like 22. It says 22 and shotgun targets. Go ahead, and if you wanted to have some fun with them, go ahead and get them. Those things work great. I'm going to buy some more of myself.
David there from 1760 Sports. Calibers for close quarters are fun. I may have to offer up my 458 SoCal.
Yeah. 100%, Dave. I'd love that, man. That's anything like that's fun. That's fun. Love it.
But well, yes, we're going to call it a wrap, but we're going to wrap up a little different. Basically, I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank our sponsors. Can't do it without them. Laura Auto Repair, the Blind Guy of North Dakota, and Mandan Sporting Goods. Thanks again to all them great sponsors, and let them know you heard it on Guns in the 701. If you're stopping at Mandan Sporting Goods, 10% off if you tell them you've done that. So, I think I forgot to actually say that Saturday when I was in there.
Did it to yourself. There, you look like that guy in that video there, that little picture you put up there with that meme.
And of course, we got Friday coming up on Mitchell in the morning again, 7:40 Mountain Time, 8:40 Central, 5:50 a.m. radio. We'll be off on Monday, so we'll be back here on Wednesday again, 6:00 p.m.
So what do you think of that, Clay? You cool with that? I put that on there. I got
like
some pictures and stuff. All right.
That worked pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
So
I like how you're doing. How you're giving her kind of tell you what, bidiatch. Yeah. That's actually, we were shooting at the 460-yard gong there. I think somebody just pegged it and
could have been.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. Awesome, man. It's a fun time. Appreciate everybody tuning in, and first time listeners. Thanks again. Rest of you guys, keep sharing it, liking. Appreciate you.
And guys, it's Memorial Day weekend, so remember why we're here this weekend. If you can go to one of the Memorial Day services coming up, there'll be several on Monday. I really highly encourage you to go do that, just to show that you support the men and women here that have died and sacrificed to keep our freedoms, like the Second Amendment. And remember, this ain't Veterans Day. This is Memorial Day. This is to honor those that have fallen and kept us free all these years. So please make sure you try to remember that.
And if you don't get anywhere, like Clay says, to do it, hey, and if you're on any social media, share something for these guys. I mean, like Clay said, they're a lot of these guys are 18 when they died, man. And
yes,
I bitch about stuff on a daily basis, third world problems, first world problems. I mean, these guys are dead and they're 18 and I'm 52. So life could be a lot worse.
Going on to the Normandy beaches, storming in there, knowing that the probability of you not coming back is pretty high. Those were men of steel. Wow.
Yeah, and Normandy's just one of them. I mean, there's that's the most famous one, but I mean, you got Saipan and numerous places in the Pacific War. It was brutal, unbelievable stuff.
War was hell. They still are, and so I'm going to end it here, and I'm going to end it with a little tracer. Little action. We'll let that play out, and then we'll end the stream. And again, guys, thanks for listening. Keep your powder dry, and we will see everybody Friday morning on 5:50 a.m.
Let's see
be
some
tuning in,
fireworks.
and we'll see everybody on Wednesday. So
You
talk
bet.
to y'all later.
Y'all like tracer rounds? I love tracer rounds. They're even better when we're suppressed. We got us a Gonga, the Gongala out here at 200 yards, you know, Gongala. Alright, zoom in on that. We got 10 rounds here, baby. Let's have us some fun. Let's have us some fun.
Oh, yeah.
I hope everybody enjoyed that. I know I did.